Also, we don't know who the other sent from my iPhone is. It could be anybody. You keep saying she. It could be a them. It could be a he. We don't know.
I know.
There are multiple people with iProducts out there, and I think iPhones say sent from my iPhone is the default signature on emails.
Yes, it is, but you can tell it does that automatically half the time when it comes in and it's not from the actual sent from my iPhone.
Yeah.
It's lowercase, which isn't how it is, or it's spelt wrong like in Cassie's last email. All right? I've gotten to the bottom of the sent from my iPhone thing, okay? This is
a deep conspiracy.
This is a deep conspiracy, and I'm unraveling it and bringing in the truth, okay?
Damn.
All right?
You're just rolling back the curtains for our audience.
Exactly.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で
Hello and welcome to Annie Chatbox, episode 89. We are so old. We are like, what is the word for it?
What is that?
In the old folks' home. It's great.
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
Decrepit. There we go. Honestly, in terms of podcasts, we're still very young, but I like to glorify the beautiful 89. And I'm happy that you guys are with me today. Before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to go ahead and mention our social links, which are at twitter.com/AnnieChatbox. Again, I obliterated the "the" a while ago, but in case you were not aware, it is twitter.com/TheAnnieChatbox. And you can contact us at AnnieChatMail@gmail.com, which we'll be talking a lot later. And if you'd like to listen to us in other places, you can do so at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And if you'd like, you can donate to our Patreon at patreon.com/TheAnnieChatbox. Or you can, listen to our sister podcast if you do so feel like it at soundcloud.com/SaveOurProgress. But why would you do that?
Damn.
Don't you mean the Oni-chan podcast?
Oh, right, the Oni-chan podcast.
The Oni-chan podcast! But speaking of Patreon, today is going to be fun because we are going to be reviewing a show that somebody did not pay for, but we do have a new patron by the name of Nicole. I don't know if she wants us to say her last name, but Nicole or Suki. She's been on the podcast a few times, and we will talk about later what exactly she is subjecting us to. But before we get to that, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of foreboding foreshadowing. Let's talk about who's here today. So, to my immediate right or left, depending on which way I look over my shoulder, is Gregory in the next room. Say hi, Craig.
Hello, Internet. How are you this fine evening? Good, I hope.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, baby.
Depending on how fast you can run across the United States, you'll bump into our next host, Cami.
Hello, you'll bump into me, and I'll be busy running around going, Padoru, Padoru.
Can you do that one more time for me, please?
走れソリよ風のように月見原をパドルパドル
Oh my fucking god, my heart. Be still, my beating heart. I can't.
If you weren't aware, today is one of the very first days of Christmas, guys.
Yep,
At least when we're recording. Get festive. Getting festive with their fancy calendars across the pond is our lovely Jonathan Joestar.
Hello. Yes. My mother surprised me with a knockoff Lego advent calendar thing.
Interesting.
I actually got an advent calendar from my mom too, but I actually didn't know what an advent calendar was.
Still don't.
And she got me one of those sock ones, so I just took all the socks out right away.
Oh, that was an advent calendar?
Yeah, it's an advent calendar of 12 days of Harry Potter socks.
I just thought they were socks. That's cool.
Yep, so I'm wearing a pair right now because my mom was like, well, I mean, it's already ruined, do what you gotta do, and they're pretty nice and cozy. But before we talk more about calendars and socks and all the other great things that make Christmas or the month of Christmas what it is, to my immediate left I have Dominic. who is now an official main host.
Oh no. Oh no, it happened.
You done fucked up.
It happened.
You done fucked up.
It happened.
She used her cunning wits and charms.
I literally sat down at our lunch break at work and said, "Do you want to be a host?" And they thought about it for 15 minutes.
And then you gave me the look. You gave me that.
What's the look?
Please, I would really be happy if you did this.
So the puppy dog eyes.
The puppy dog eyes, yeah.
Did her lip quiver a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And her eyes glistened.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that I had the ability to do such things.
I think you just do it on like reaction now. I don't think you do it intentionally. I think it just happens when you really want something from me.
It's a natural body reaction.
It happens a lot.
Listen, I don't ask for much. Except for you to dedicate hundreds of thousands of hours to anime now and sit here and talk with us about it for absolutely no pay or recognition.
I don't ask for much, she says.
And become horribly, horribly jaded.
Now, I mentioned them last so that they can go ahead and talk about one of their favorite things that's going to happen on the podcast. You want to go ahead and do a shout out to our wonderful new patron, Miss Suki /Nicole, and tell her how grateful we are to her and what it is exactly that she's going to be having us review for her?
Suki, I just want you to know I don't want your dirty money. And that I'm going to absolutely rip this show a completely new hole right by its derriere.
Yeah.
And so I just hope you're prepared for that, because the show Suki wants us to review it's airing. It's this season. Yeah, this season's Uzumaid. Basically, everyone in this podcast is going to have to make sure we all don't get sent to jail.
Yep.
So
we're making our fake passports right now. We're prepared to go into hiding.
Yeah.
Do we have to watch this on the darknet? Is this what's going to happen? Is this...
Sirens.
We're gonna have to all get VPNs.
It's on Crunchyroll.
I'm not taking chances.
Does anybody else have any nice things to say to our new patron?
Thank you for submitting cash months to us. If you I hope that you realize that well, this is the top priority, but also I don't know if you're going to continue to support us, but if so, then Godspeed, soldier. Let's buckle up for this wild ride, which you call art, which, yeah, you watch that every week, and you seem to enjoy it, so I'm glad that you're sharing your enjoyment with us, which to us may equate from blatant pain to, God, well, this is a dumpster fire, but you know what? We're enjoying the wild ride regardless.
So how much did she pay you to suck up?
Yeah, fucking suck up.
Shit. let's check the bank account. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm what they call a wordsmith.
John, Cami, any words for our new patron?
I just want to know how the cops haven't snatched you out of your weeby little bedroom yet.
Why did you say that so seductively?
Yeah, that was damn, girl.
I mean, I didn't intend to. I was trying to go for more malicious, but I guess I have a thin line between malice and seduction.
Oh, they bleed together.
That's kind of sexy in its own way.
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
People pay good money for that.
Oh my God, John, stop.
What did you say?
He said people would pay good money for that. He's
probably.
absolutely right.
We should make that a reward.
No.
Have a host of your choice just tell you insulting things to your face.
No, just specifically you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
God,
with anybody
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
This is what I fucking get for having Blendess as my impression one time. One goddamn time.
Smile, sweet sister, sadistic surprise.
Service! Any final words, John, before we move on?
Don't poke the bear.
This is all of Dominic's fault. Absolutely.
I didn't know this would happen. But I'm at least happy that everyone else gets to fucking suffer with me.
Misery loves company, man. Misery loves company.
But that aside, we do appreciate your generous donation of $15. That is the new tier that you have to pay us so that we'll watch your guys' shows. We will always make room for them on our schedule, but for now we're so overcrowded and we've been trolled so many times that now we're making y'all pay the cash months, and some people apparently are willing to do so. So thank you, Suki, I think.
True dedication to the craft.
That is true dedication. So we are very appreciative, and also, as always, we're very grateful to Sarah CorpsyAnn as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have her stuff in the description.
Yep.
And we will ask Suki later if she would also like to be credited in some way. She does have a YouTube page, but I want to make sure that she's okay with us sharing it. If she is, it will be in the description. So, moving on. This is just the social link day, because first we're talking about our Patreon and all of the terrible, terrible life decisions we've made in making things available to our general listening public audience. But now we get to talk about emails. We actually have not done a email episode since a lot of our June and July emails, and we've gotten quite a few since then. So I have assigned a few to each host, all of us here, and we are going to read anywhere between 2 to 3 emails a piece. I'm going to go ahead and start off first because I'm already talking, so why the fuck not? All right, the first email is titled, "What the hell, kids?" And I believe this one is in reference to our Devilman review, so I guess me and Craig are responsible for this one.
Okay.
Not, and the message goes as such, not a, in bold, single mention in the, in bold, entire review of, in bold, Devil Cat. Not a single freaking mention. I'm so disappointed. I'm disowning you all. Trading you in for a newer model, to be honest. Except Cass, because she included that sweet, only pop tame epic a 6 jab at Zach. Bless her for fighting the good fight and repping the best anime of 2018. Love you all. Keep doing your rebusty, anonymous viewer.
Nice.
So I've been forgiven. So Craig, what the fuck you got to say for yourself? Not one mention of the Devil Cat in our review.
Well, I don't want to speak on behalf of Zach, but you know what? Let's just say the Devil Cat, suffice it to say, shows up at one point, but there is a lot happening when and around the Devil Cat appears that I was just engrossed in what happened. And
so you're saying the Devil Cat does not take precedence? I
mean, with the action on screen that happened at the time, no.
I mean, there's that one scene with it that's, I mean,
well,
pretty,
yeah,
pretty.
Intense.
I mean, I'm on Suki's side. I think you would at least mention that one. You guys fucked up.
I've been forgiven, though.
I mean, you've been forgiven, and that's fair, but Craig fucked up.
Yeah. So did Zach.
Yeah, that show, that review, it's all a blur.
We
like an acid
would
trip.
like to release a official apology from the Annie Chatbox server and podcast, stating that we did not mean to harm any devil cats in the making of this podcast, and we sincerely hope that you'll continue listening.
Dun 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 dun
Dun, dun,
dun dun.
Moving on, I believe Cami's the next one.
Oh yeah, I have an email titled "Breasts, Thighs, and Ass," and the message reads, "All parts of the chicken are amazing. You guys are just mean." And I'm going to be completely honest here and say I don't know what this was in reference to. Maybe at some point we were talking about like our Friendsgiving plans where we had chicken. And I prefer drumsticks. So like, I'm sorry that I don't like to eat chicken ass 24/7 or any hour, any day of the week.
I think I recall that it was regarding, oh god, I think the person who emailed us took a spin on that and related it to chicken, but I think it was like favorite parts of a person? Question mark? I can't be too exact.
No, I think we talked about chicken at some point, but I can't remember. All I'm going to say is I still favor dark meat, and I am just mean.
Yeah, I'll take dark meat and thighs for chicken. 100%.
Dom and John, are you team dark meat or team light
Team
meat?
Team dark meat.
Hell
Dark
yeah.
meat.
Hell yeah.
I think we're just a dark meat podcast, and you're just going to have to accept us for that.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. I feel less sorry for this than I do the Devil Cat, though.
Yeah.
We are now officially the dark meat podcast.
That's what we're changing our name to, the Dark Meat Podcast.
Any chat box, the Dark Meat Podcast.
We might reel in a new audience that we're just not
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
for.
We gotta branch out somehow, guys.
Oh no. Oh no. Craig, you're next up.
All right. This email title is simply Hinamatsuri. The message goes as such. Zach demands a reread for his of his Anzu joke because he is very salty that it was missed as down as it was misread as down instead of drown. His words, not mine. You guys wouldn't let Anzu down or drown, right? She's a good girl who's doing her best. You all love and support Anzu, right? You guys are doing a great job, and I love you all. Anonymous viewer who totally doesn't know anybody named Zach. Hashtag is sent from my iPhone.
Wow. So we've had our Hinamatsuri review, and we gave lots of love and support to Anzu.
We
Yeah.
did.
We righted one wrong. I already deleted the other email, so we can't do a reread.
Do we have to issue a formal apology again, or are we good?
You're up, Dominic. Issue a formal apology.
I'm not apologizing to this faker.
Damn.
I'm not apologizing to the fake sent from my iPhone. I refuse.
Damn.
There's only one sent from my iPhone, and I have that email. So, no.
Can you at least apologize for the Hinamatsuri thing?
To sent from my iPhone, faker.
Apologize to Zach.
Oh, I apologize, Zach. I don't know what the hell these cretins did to you, but I apologize for their incompetence. And I hope you'll keep listening, at least for me, someone who understands and accepts you and your jokes.
Wow.
I just went from like a very targeted attack to like attacking all of us at one time. Okay.
Walks in high and mighty like new host in town.
Just fucking takes everyone down. It's just like splash damage. It just fucking burns it all down.
I'd like to introduce our new producer, Dominic.
Puts on his pixel shades and deals with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
John, what a coincidence that you were just talking. I believe it is your turn.
Okay, so the email title is One Way to Improve Your Podcast. And the message reads, talk about Alice or Alice, Siskan, Nisan, to Futago no Imoto. I know at least 2 of you watched it, and the other 2 damn well better if you have any taste at all. Do it. Do
No.
it. Heart
No.
Anon.
The only
No.
way that is going to happen is if somebody submits another $15.
Don't
Don't,
tempt her.
yeah, don't encourage
tempt
it.
her.
or if one of us makes it their our host choice.
Don't tempt her.
Listen, Alice to Alice is actually pretty fucking harmless.
So are you saying...
But is it worth our time? That's
Yeah.
my
Oh, God,
question.
no, not
Thank you, Cami. Thank you. She gets it.
But think of the discussions we could have about anime of the year, Alice, Siskan Nissan to Futago no Imoto. It'd be an exorbitant discussion.
Do you mean the hate anime Alice or Alice, Siskan, Nisan, to Futago no Imoto?
Of course, I am.
That is exactly what we're talking about. I don't have the title in front of me, so I'm not going to keep this joke going, but I agree.
You mean Alice or Alice, Siskan Nissan to Futago no Imoto.
I know this is a bit in our friendship, but the audience listening is probably like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
It is an anime. Go look it up. It is a anime that aired, I think, actually a couple seasons ago. It's a short. It's really dumb. It's marketed as a Siscon show. It's not.
Yeah, it ran for 12 episodes in the spring season.
Yeah.
It's on High
It
Dive.
marketed itself as, I mean, it's got Siscon in the title, but it hardly deals with the siblings, if I'm being completely honest. Just a bunch of chippies dicking around.
There's a girl that likes burgers. She eats a good burger. Call her Burger Chan.
I love burgers.
I do too.
I am firmly in support of Burger Chan. I don't remember her name.
She's only Burger Chan.
We should send John out on this one. He should have to watch it and report back.
Okay.
You're up.
Okay. So My first email's title is Fucking Weebs. And the message is, serious, you kids are fucking weebs. Love you, Anon. And I mean, aside from me, I'm not a weeb at all, but she's right. Everyone else here is a fucking weeb.
You're a host on an anime podcast.
I'm not a weeb. Not
You're
a weeb.
Well, here's the thing. People want to listen to weebs. Our listening audience are weebs. They want you to be a weeb.
I'm sorry, weebs. You're just gonna have to fucking deal. I'm not one of you. I am different.
Are you saying you're looking down on weebs?
I'm just saying I'm not one of them.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are.
One of us.
Yes.
One of us.
On your taxes, there's a little thing that says,
A
"Are you a
form.
weeb?" And if you check no, you.
I don't do
perjured.
my taxes, okay? I'm gonna commit tax fraud.
Do not say that. It's a joke. They are not going to commit tax fraud. Do not report us.
And now on top of, like, the FBI probably going to bust down the door, now the IRS is now going to bust down the door.
Possibly at the same time.
Sorry.
No, you, good sir. You go break down the door. No, I encourage you, madam. You break down the door.
God.
At least they'll be too busy arguing about who's gonna break down the door to actually break down the door. Gives me enough time to escape and commit more tax fraud.
Just committing exorbitant amounts of tax fraud. You just... What are you doing? Why? Why would you do this?
That should be the name of this episode, Exuberant Amounts of Tax Fraud.
Or how about
Done.
Team Dark Meat commits amounts of tax fraud?
That is the best title we have ever had.
That way we could cover our tracks, you know.
Christ.
We're here looking for a Miss Team Dark Meat. Are you?
Are you the ones committing tax fraud?
No, never heard of them. So it's back to me. So my second email, I believe, is actually in regards to the aforementioned Uzumade. The email title is, Why Do Good Budgets Happen to Bad Anime? Message, see subject. Love you all and hope you're doing a great job. Sent from my iPhone.
I'm glad she acknowledges that it's a bad anime. I'm gonna put that on the record that is the fake sent from my iPhone's words. And say that person knows who they are. So just putting it out there, you admitted it's a bad anime.
Damn. Counterpoint to that, the production company on that show is Dagakobo, and they usually make their shows look good. To the quality of the show, I cannot say because I've only watched one episode. Cass has seen more.
I've seen 2 episodes.
Yes.
I've seen bits and pieces of the second episode, and that is more than enough to tell me that it's
Well,
bad.
we're gonna watch all of it now, so...
I know.
Well,
Why do
know.
good budgets happen to bad anime?
That's a very good question.
It's called
That is a good
marketing,
question.
and
That could be its own topic in and of
Yep.
itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably save that for later, but then sometimes good budgets happen to great anime. Like, we've been watching Mob Psycho recently.
that's Bones money, baby.
That show is so good.
Does it slap?
Yeah,
It slaps.
it slaps.
That's good. That's good. That opening also slaps.
It slaps you so hard you're in another dimension before you know
You're
it.
just like, oh god, psychic slap.
Psychic slap. Hashtag psychic slap. This hashtag psychic slaps. That's the new thing. It's not just this slaps, this psychic slaps.
Psychic slaps.
Do you know what else psychic slaps?
The email you're about to read.
Titled, You Kids Are Cute. The message says, I love you a lot. I hope you enjoy your anime picks. All your listeners should pay the $15 tier to get their own favorite animes reviewed by the ACB team. Did you know that all 4 members, now 5 of the group, will have to watch the full anime and review it? It's a good deal, especially if you love those people and want to see them suffer. X thanks, sent from my iPhone. I like X
See,
thanks.
everybody was dogging me earlier, like, Cassie, don't remind them, don't tempt them. Well, there you go. You got an advertisement.
From the person that is going to make us suffer, yeah.
We don't know that. They're
I
an
do.
anon.
They're anonymous.
They're anonymous. We don't know who they are.
I'm outing them.
So there's this whole cult, like, against us.
I mean, if they're gonna keep paying us money to watch bad anime, at least we're getting paid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll pay for our SoundCloud subscription that's up in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Or a month.
Yep. Are we sellouts now?
No, because we're only making $15, not $15K. We can be called
Yeah.
sellouts then.
We're on the road. We're getting there.
Yeah.
The road to being a sellout.
It's a long and windy road.
I want to be in a band called The Road to Being a Sellout.
Why don't you just call the band the Sellouts?
The sellouts, yeah. The road to being a sellout is more like a song title or an album title. That would be like your first album as the sellouts.
John will be our lead singer.
No.
And
I
Cami
mean-
will be our second lead singer. They will harmonize. What would each of us be
In a band?
in our band? Like what then the sellouts? What would we play?
Craig
do.
would be on drums.
Yeah.
I would be on bass, most likely.
I can see that. I totally can see that.
Yeah, Cassie would be on like keyboard.
Yep.
Yeah.
John would be on guitar.
Yeah, lead guitar.
Yeah, lead guitar. He'd also do vocals, and Cami would just be the main vocalist.
I love this.
That's a really good band formation.
I'm not even gonna argue. That's perfect.
Why am I a vocalist?
Because you've got the British voice. It's just, I'm sorry.
You don't even have to sing well. You just have to sing.
You just have to sing. You've got the accent. It just happens.
It
and
sells
people are
itself.
like-
And
yeah.
Cami has enough talent to carry all of us.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Okay.
John,
that
you
I
bring the
agree with.
stage presence because I'm a nervous wreck, like, performing. So you will bring all the stage presence.
No.
John's just like, have you met me? I think you did a month ago, lady.
It's okay. That's the thing. We always, when in doubt, if we crash or the concert is going south, we just raise up the energy in the audience with, like, an Irish drinking jig song. You know.
Oh no.
You drunk, you silly old fool.
I was humming that to myself at work the other day.
Start singing it to random customers, see how it goes. I believe Craig is the next one.
You are correct, ma'am. Email titled, "You kids are great," with an 8 for 8 on there. Great. The message reads as such: "I love you all, and your Sangatsu no Lion review was really nice and calming, and exactly the right kind of content I needed today. So thank you all for being you, even if half of you weren't even there. Dom for number 4, best co-host." I'll add this, and well, he's no longer co-host. He's now shackled into this position, so we get ready to hear more of him.
Now I'm best host.
More Dom, please. I'm not joking. Again, sent from my iPhone. Hashtag sent from my iPhone. I'm just adding the
Well-
hashtag.
Now I feel kind of bad because I've just been trashing on her this entire time. And there's this email where she talks about how she wants more of me, but, you know,
You
whatever.
do realize that you're, like, again, poking the bear, so when the Anon listens to this episode, you're going to get a sternly written email.
I mean, I know. I can't help it. I fight back. That's all it is. It's never going to end. We're just continuously, this is just how it's going to be from now on. She's going to make us watch bad anime, and I'm going to be very salty about it.
Well, we'll definitely have more Dom in the future. That has been guaranteed.
Yes.
Yeah. So congrats on Anna's VR.
Congrats, you got exactly what you wanted. Do you feel happy now?
Probably.
All right, next up is John.
Jean.
Jean.
Okay, so this will probably trigger Dom.
Oh, I know. I've read the email.
Yeah, because the email is titled "Sent from my iPhone," and the message reads "Sent from my iPhone."
Yeah, that's a fake.
I don't understand why this is such a big deal. Like, you both can be sent.
Okay, it's a big deal because she tried to claim that was her shtick, and that's my shtick.
How's that your shtick? She started emailing first.
No, but the sent from my iPhone little thing at the bottom, I did that first with my original email where I asked you guys to read Green.
Oh, so you finally admit to it.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways.
Also, we don't know who the other sent from my iPhone is. It could be anybody.
No.
You keep saying she. It could be a them. It could be a he. We don't know.
I know.
There are multiple people with iProducts out there, and I think iPhones say sent from my iPhone is the default signature on emails.
Yes, it is, but you can tell it does that automatically half the time when it comes in and it's not from the actual sent from my iPhone.
Yeah.
It's lowercase, which isn't how it is, or it's spelt wrong like in Cassie's last email. All right? I've gotten to the bottom of the sent from my iPhone thing, okay? This is
a deep conspiracy.
This is a deep conspiracy, and I'm unraveling it and bringing in the truth, okay?
Damn.
All right?
You're just rolling back the curtains for our audience.
Exactly.
I'm just sitting here.
Now, speaking of sent from my iPhone, I have an email from the actual sent from my iPhone, all right?
Uh-huh.
Email title, regarding your Gundam episode. The message reads, "Hello, fine folks at the Annie chat box. Long-time listener, second-time writer." Also, this is another way that you know that it's the actual sent from my iPhone. They'll actually say that part, long-time listener.
Oh my fucking god.
just throwing that out there. Anyways. I have been going through all the old episodes and have recently listened to the Gundam Build Fighters episode. As a longtime Gundam fan, I was very pleased with the discussion had on that episode. However, I noticed this episode is over a year old and multiple hosts on the podcast mentioned being intrigued, and excited even, by the Horse Gundam in G Gundam, and that they had to watch this iteration. The had is...
in parentheses?
Yeah, basically. This is wonderful, but since this episode, I have noticed that none of you actually did this. This is a crime, and quite frankly, I am disappointed in all of you for being this slow to this masterpiece. Shame on you and your forefathers. Sincerely, sent from my iPhone.
I have watched all of G Gundam and read all of the manga.
Okay, I think the email is in reference to everyone that was very excited about the Horse Gundam, but hadn't actually watched it at that point.
Okay.
So John is exempt from the criticism. Everyone else is at fault and owes an apology, I think.
You know, it's really a shame that a person who really values G Gundam would prioritize something like Green and decide that it is apparently better than the Horse Gundam in G Gundam. It's too bad. Both shows begin with G and G. Such a shame that there was a little bit of a mix-up there.
Damn!
Holy
shade!
Get fucking right.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, in their defense, I think that's only just because Green is a much shorter show, and G Gundam is like 4 times as long. So I think they were just opening with a small, like a small little a small sampler of a masterpiece before getting you into the really big, meaty meal. Think of it as it's an appetizer. Green is an appetizer. Eventually,
you seem to know a whole lot about what this sent from my iPhone thing.
We're good friends.
Oh, you're good friends. You know them quite well.
Oh yeah, we're good friends.
I have a question. How many episodes is G Gundam?
It's 50.
Yeah, it's 50.
About 50 or 49.
It's almost like you're a host and you have host choices now.
I do, but and maybe that'll be a host choice at some
Maybe
point.
someday.
But I don't know why this is about me. We're talking about Sent from my iPhone. That's a show that they're concerned about. I mean, I like G Gundam. It's one of my favorite shows, but I'm not.
You know, I am on Cami's side. I think that they had their chance.
Mm-hmm.
You have many more for them. Maybe you can be their savior.
I mean, maybe I can. I'm just saying. I'm just reading the email.
I just love how salty Cami sounds today.
I personally have no excuse as to why I've not watched the G Gundam. I've just been in pre-cure hell.
Yeah,
for the past year.
Craig is the worst offender because he'll always make jokes about G Gundam. Hasn't watched it.
Shining finger.
I mean, I'm really lazy. Shut up, and I'm in pre-cure hell. I'll get out of there eventually.
I mean,
Someday.
it's like 50 episodes. I get it. That's a valid point. But I'm also like 50 episodes versus a lifetime of emotional and mental scarring, potentially, that's going to be impacted by the choice of green. I'm like, maybe trade-off. Who knows?
I mean, I haven't watched Green, but from what I hear from Sent From My iPhone, Green is actually a masterpiece, so...
It is akin to art, much like Thunderbolt Fantasy, from what I hear.
Much like Yamibo?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that, so...
That's true.
I'm not
There's no
sure.
comparison.
I'm just slowly sipping Mountain Dew over here, waiting for, like, Cami or Dominic to kill each other.
It's literally the first, like, official time Dom's a host, too, and Dom's just like, fucking, torch it down.
I'm making everyone my enemy.
This is absolutely what we needed. Now we're going to be juicy like some daytime reality, like, TV show.
So, moving on, my final email is titled, Cami is literally an angel. The message as follows is, she is perfect in every way. Literally a goddess among us commoners. You're all great, but, like, have you seen Cami? She's literally amazing, and such a great editor, and so smart, and wonderful, and kind, and sweet. Literally the best. Sent RFOM my iPhone.
Oh! Exposed! Exposed!
P.S. You are all doing amazing, and I think you're the best anime podcast ever.
Still
Aw.
exposed. I also agree with the email, even though Cami did not follow through with G Gundam and the horse. But I agree. She is an angel.
Now I'm just a sad puddle over here that doesn't know how to take compliments, especially after being sassy.
It's emotional whiplash is what it is.
Well, sent from... Wait, how is it spelled? Sent form?
Sent Urfum.
Urfum.
My iPhone.
Sent Urfum my iPhone.
Well, Sent Urfum, you are my absolute favorite, and I really hope that we hear more from you in the future and that I can still do a good job. Thank you very much.
Also, yes, I have actually seen Cami now. So I can.
Oh, hey! Yeah, in person.
In person,
We-
yeah.
We have all at this point seen Cami, and now we can't unsee a goddess. It just... As she walks in the room, there's this weird singing noise. A light shines down from heaven.
Well, props to Cassie for trying to capture a goddess in her closet every chance she gets.
Listen, I just know a good thing when I see one, and I want to keep it all for myself.
Yeah, Cassie gets to capture all the wealth and good things in the world. That's a great life perspective.
Listen, girl, those Maryland apartments are looking rather expensive. That's all I'm saying.
They are, and a lot shittier than your closet, so...
Damn.
It's really cold in there, though. I'm just
Aw.
letting you know.
That's
It's like
good.
freezing.
I
It's
do
an
need-
ice box.
We
I
can
need
cuddle
blankets.
That's true.
her. We can cuddle her. We'll have a group cuddle.
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah.
4 of us. And John can come too.
Are we just gonna record from the closet from now on?
Yes, we'll all snuggle in there and be like, we're now the dark meat
Annie Chat
Closet
Annie-
podcast.
The closet cast.
Welcome
I
to the
love
Annie
it.
Chat Closet.
Annie Chat Closet.
You're a weekly source of shade and multiple subtitles and sometimes anime.
So, I have to bring us back, after all of this fun and unification we have about bonding in closets, to everybody's favorite discourse with this email titled, There Can Only Be One. The message says, there's only one sent from my iPhone, so whoever that other Anon is needs to back the fuck up off my gimmick before something unfortunate happens to them. You get what I'm saying? Love you, just the letter U, all sent from my iPhone.
Exactly. This is exactly why this is a big deal. This is exactly why I had to unravel the mystery, because now she's trying to throw fists, and I'm not gonna take that.
Yeah, like
Don't
fisty
take
cuffs.
that, Dom. Don't take it.
I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it while she's gonna make me watch Uzumate, okay? You can do 1, you do 2, and I'm mad.
Dang. Dang.
I love Suki, but
Who said it was Suki? It's sent from my iPhone.
I love the person who is most likely Anon, and it's not sent from my iPhone. I know who sent from my iPhone is. It's not that person.
God damn. This discussion's heated.
I just wanted to come and read emails today, and it's literally just been, the new host gets angry.
It's great. We needed this.
I'm glad Cami approves it.
I mean, this is the most animated I think I've ever seen you. I don't know how to react.
We're literally going to lose a listener.
I'm fine with this.
Losing a
They'll come back.
listener?
They'll always come back.
I'm pretty sure the lister's down for it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Ugh.
Probably. She likes to fight with fisticuffs if they're who I
Jesus
think they are.
Christ.
Love fisticuffs.
I also love We have so much in common. John also likes fisticuffs.
Does he?
I don't know, he hasn't talked a lot, so I'm trying to bring him back in.
I'm here. I've just been too busy giggling about everything going on.
Well, that's just fucking adorable. Carry on. Alright, I think we got our last email coming up, which is good because we are
Yeah.
It's a good
we are
discussion.
enjoying this topic a little bit too much, but that's okay. Our review will probably be relatively short, so
Yeah.
that's okay. But Craig, you want to get us to our last email? I believe it's our last email.
Yeah, you are correct. Last one on my list here says, also fuck Craig and his Howl's Moving Castle propaganda. Which, by the way, the sent from my iPhone all now sounds like conspiracy/propaganda. Message reads as such, you don't have to actually read this on the podcast. I just wanted to let it be known that I'm disappointed. Sent from my iPhone, hashtag sent from my iPhone with the correct spelling of iPhone, with the uppercase P. Sent from my iPhone. I've never seen the movie. I just seen bits and pieces of it, and that was on our Magispride review. You seem to have very heated impressions / thoughts, what's called a hot take about Howl's Moving Castle. It's not propaganda. It's just Ghibli. So, I mean...
It's not propaganda. It's
just Ghibli. I mean...
That's a strange sentence.
I can get behind that. It's just Ghibli.
Oh.
That could also be our
We have
episode
so many
title.
titles, like,
It's
locked
not
up.
propaganda.
It's just Ghibli. An old as fuck bitter man smoking cigarettes, just wanting to, like, fucking make his damn anime in, like, the countryside and play with airplanes.
I'm gonna go ahead and go on the record and say that I liked Howl's Moving Castle. It's not my favorite.
I did too, and I'm not even that big on Ghibli.
Yeah, I thought it was an okay film.
Yes.
It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it, like, with a burning passion.
But I want to let all of our listeners know that you are welcome to love or hate anything that you want.
Yeah, send us your emails about how wrong we are, and I will fight you on the podcast personally.
I love it.
Sounds
No
good.
one else will fight you, so I will.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, you're not wrong, but we are all weak to the Anon's wiles.
It's true.
Well, that, unless we have any further comments, that wraps up our mailbag. We have one extra email that I am saving because it comes with a request attached to it that we cannot complete at this time. So we will definitely keep that one in our back pocket and bring it up on a future episode, probably in the next couple of weeks. But for now, we are going to move on to our review of today. Before we go ahead and begin, this is one of the last couple requests that we received before we put up our paywall. So originally, I don't know if you guys remember, many moons ago, we talked about a show called Sengoku Nightblood. It was requested from a listener and wonderful friend of ours, fan of the podcast, Terry. However, she has since rescinded her request of Sengoku Nightblood and gave us something else, much to our dear God, happiness, and much to Craig's dismay because he marathoned most of Sengoku Nightblood anyway.
I was half paying attention, not gonna lie.
But instead of talking about Sengoku Nightblood, which if you want our opinions on that, you can go back and listen to the episode where we discussed the first 3 episodes ad nauseum. I can't remember exactly what episode number that was, but I believe it was an Impressions episode.
You are correct.
Yes. But today we're going to be talking about instead Tamako Market, which she so nicely swapped out for us. So before we go ahead and get moving, I want to talk about some deets about good old Tamako Market. But first we got to kick Dominic out because
I didn't watch this show. I mean, I watched 1 episode and that's it.
they didn't like Dara, and that makes me sad.
Aww.
That's part of the show.
I wasn't too into the show, so. And I wasn't required to watch it, so.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones where you can actually, the last one where you can actually use that excuse.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, I'm gonna go play Zelda now. Bye.
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 So now I'm going to hit you with the deets of good old Tamako Market. This show is animated by Kyoto Animation. Some other shows by them were the lovely and legendary Clannad, and also Hyoka, which we may also be talking about in a few episodes. So stay tuned for that. We love our Kyoto Animation here, so we were very excited to talk about this today because we're big fans of their work. They also did things such as Haruhi Suzumiya, Violet Evergarden. They're doing a show this season, Sarune, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is great. I can't remember when Tamako Market actually aired, so if somebody wants to grab that really fast, you can. But while somebody does that for me, I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis. Inside the Usagiyama shopping district lies an eccentric but close-knit community of business owners. Tamako, I'm going to butcher her last name, Kita Shirakawa, a clumsy though adorable teenage girl, belongs to a family of mochi bakers who own a quaint shop called Tamaya. One day, Tamako stumbles upon a talking bird that presents himself as royalty from a distant land. Dara Mochimazi, as he calls himself, states that he is seeking a bride for his country's prince. Intent on his mission, Dara follows Tamako home and develops an addiction to mochi. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Becoming painfully overweight, same, and subsequently unable to fly back to his homeland, same. Thus, he takes up residence with Tamako's family and becomes the community's beloved mascot. I mean, kind of same. Meanwhile, Tamako's friend, Mochizo Ooji, continues to hide his true feelings for her. Their fathers are fierce mochi rivals, but will it be enough to drive a wedge between Tamako and Mochizo? This is not something that actually happens during the actual show, so I'm not sure why it's here.
Yep, that's courtesy of Mal for you.
And just what will happen to Dara's task of finding his prince's destined bride. So that whole line about Mochizo and Tamako, if you want that, go watch the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But everything else about this description was relatively accurate.
Cass, to answer your question, this show aired in January through March of 2013, so it was winter 2013 anime.
So this anime is about 5 years old now.
You are correct! Shy of a month.
That's... Jeez. Well, wait, in 2019 it'll be... Hold on, I can't math. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18... 6 years old.
Yeah, 6, so it'll be 6.
Damn!
It's coming up to 6 years old. Yeah, wow.
Cassie displays how bad she is at math.
That's all good.
Anyway. But yeah, no, this show is very fun. I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. So let's get started with the story, which I think the synopsis basically explained really well. But if somebody else wants to provide their own input and how they felt about it, I'm going to go ahead and cast it off.
Sure. I will say that it's really interesting. I think the first time that I watched Tamako Market was closer to 2013, 2014, and I was in college, and I kind of just remember it as like a hazy feel-good blur, like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew that I enjoyed it somehow. I knew that it like made me feel happy, but I never really like thought back on why. And so I had a really fun time with this rewatch, just figuring out the little quirks that like for me made it enjoyable and also sets it apart from some of its other KyoAni contemporaries. And one thing I think is so interesting about the story is how it combines like very intimate, like slice of life, small scale stories with just this weird small hint of supernatural tint to it. That I haven't seen. Usually, like with KyoAni, I feel like it goes either like pretty heavy on supernatural with like Junibyo to a degree, and then like Kyokai no Kanata, that stuff, or they're pretty well like grounded.
Yeah.
But this show just kind of is like, yeah, we have a bird, and this bird can talk to everybody, and he's also a projector, and like, but we're still just gonna go around our like merry daily little lives. And I found the supernatural bit to be a really interesting framing device in the show. I think it made it pretty unique.
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all think of like the addition of like Dara to the show, and if you want to make an extent like the kind of islander plot?
So let me just start off by saying I tried watching the show when it aired. I think Cass tried to get me to watch it, but I kind of fell off. So this was an interesting retrospect to kind of like go back and re-experience this. I watched the movie cold, only watching one episode of the show, so that kind of like was a weird trying to watch that without really getting to know the characters, mind you. That being said, I liked Dara. I think he sold the show. I watched this show dubbed, mind you, so Dara's English voice actor is Jay Hickman. He voices the giraffe in Review Starlight, by the way. Just want to let you all know that. And he fucking sells it. I love his demeanor, how he's such a gentleman, and he just freaks out, and how he's just so full of energy, and everyone just like says, "What the fuck, you're a talking bird," but then they just quickly get over it.
I think you're talking more about Dara as a character now instead of like his integration into the plot.
Sorry.
So how did you feel about... No, you're fine. I just wanted to kind of get back on track with, I think, what Cami was asking.
Yeah,
basically.
His framing of him just being there to scout out the princess, correct? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I found it fine. It's just basically his journey to try and find a person, and it seemed pretty straightforward.
There is kind of the catalyst of all of the plot that happens in the actual TV series, really. Like, everything, every major event that happens somehow comes back to Dara got involved.
True.
Yeah, rewatching this was interesting for me, because I also watched this as it was airing, and like, over the years, it's kind of all blurred together, and like, I remember things like surprising me happening much later on, and then like, wait, was this character's feelings this blatant so fucking early on? And like, I also remember the whole bride side plot, subplot, whatever you want it, being a bigger part of it. Like, it's there pretty much for the entire thing, but the one major development that happens regarding that plot happens at the end of episode 10, and I was convinced that happened earlier somehow. So when I was like, oh, we finally got into... Wait, it's episode 10, alright, what? Just rewatching it has been really fun and reminded me of why I enjoyed this series in the first place.
I think in regards to Cami's question on my end, without going into what exactly I just felt in general, but how I felt about the integration of the island plot as a major story beat, it is probably my least favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
I can get that.
I think that the show, as much as I really like Dara, and as much as I like Choi, and as much as I think that there is a very great monologue brought up in the last episode due to that plot, I believe that Tamako Market could have stood on its own without the introduction of the bride plot, which if you watch the show, you'll know what we're talking about. I think that the episodes that I enjoyed the most were actually just the folks in this little community interacting with each other and having these, I won't say vignettes, but like little side stories that deal with each character and how those character interactions play out.
100%.
So that's what my answer to Cami's question would be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Here's a question. Do you think Choi would, like, you said it would have been more enjoyable if they didn't address the bride aspect. Do you also think Choi didn't need to be in the show?
That's a good question for everybody. For me personally, I thought Choi was cute, but if she wasn't there, I don't think I would have been heartbroken.
Yeah, same.
I don't think I mind necessarily Choi as much. I enjoyed her in her, like, Cassie, like you were saying, just kind of the general little, like, getting to know everybody and making friends with the main cast sort of deal. I almost feel like they could have still done Dara, and to the extent Choi, of, like, if Dara just ended up here and then Choi's like, hey, I'm from this island and I gotta find my bird, you know? And then just had her basically play the same role that Dara does of, like, hey, I'm meeting everybody and I'm getting to know the shopping district and I really like it. Because, I mean, I think that's the good part about Choi's integration.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole bride subplot that comes up later does feel a bit, like, offhanded and wasn't necessary, I guess, for the show.
It's also resolved in a very
quick way.
A very, like, quick, under-the-table way. I think that there was, like I said, a great monologue that came out of it from Tamako, and also a great emotional resolve that we don't really get to see from Dara most of the show. Kind of shows up, and I liked seeing Dara be a selfless character for once.
Yeah.
Because the whole joke is he's not throughout most of the show. He's just this silly, over-exaggerant, extra bird that's there. And that's great. But it was also nice to have that moment with him and how much he did care about Tamako. But otherwise, I just feel like, unfortunately, the last couple episodes to me weren't as fun as the rest of the show because of that.
100%. Like, I have it down here in my notes that the show's biggest strength, in my opinion, was showing the shopping arcade district and how they banded together in order to try and generate buzz and business, especially during the holidays. How they had, like, meetings and sort of stuff in order to, like, get everyone, like, pumped up for this sort of thing, and how they filmed commercials and shit like that. I was like, man, this is actually really interesting. Like, I didn't expect this. This is actually pretty cool. A tight-knit community while helping each other out.
Yeah. I also really liked the framing of a year, and, like, each episode regarded a different season or, like, a celebration. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
I think overall the story of Tamako Market is a simple one. If you kind of don't take into consideration the big story beats of, oh, this weird bird showed up trying to look for his bride, and then that's dropped through most of the show and then randomly comes back at the end. For the most part, it's just a laid-back, chill story, slice of life, and that's when it's at its best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harmless fluff, and it's basically, Cass, what you said, it's your cute girls doing cute things, sort of like junk food that you love. So I can totally understand that.
I wouldn't even call it junk food, because I do think it's a quality show. I think that you do need to have your brain turned on when you watch it, specifically for some episodes that are a little bit more emotionally driven, even though they are slice of life things. Like, oh no, all my friends are expecting me to do something and I don't know how to do it and I don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like, things like that. Or, oh, I'm having, and this is only touched on very briefly, but I'm having, the whole shopping district is empty and it's reminding me of the day my mother died, or things like that. Like, there are serious topics that are addressed, and I think that at its core, Tamako Market is trying to provide you with a sentimental, cute story about a tight-knit community. I don't think that's junk food.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd agree with your statement.
Fair enough.
There's also some really subtle storytelling that I love, like, that's very clever. I won't get into details of it, but the way that they frame the episode regarding Anko's crush on somebody is really clever. The way that they frame characters that, like, she's glancing at all the time. It's like very intentional for this cute little end beat in the story, or
Mhm.
there's like the Halloween mystery. Like it has very subtle things that if you do pay attention, the payoff is so good.
Yeah, and to kind of go off that, like, Tamako and Anko's dad is a good example of that.
Oh yeah, if you pay attention to his reactions to things.
Yeah, like, he's kind of a hard ass, but also he's just kind of gets flustered and he just like, oh yeah, fuck it, man. I made this different type of mochi because you're trying to generate buzz.
Could you stop singing that one song all the time because it embarrasses me?
Yeah, essentially. I'm like, and to actually see his character growth and learn more about him, I thought was a good highlight of the show.
It also has these little subtle life lessons that are scattered throughout the show, often narrated by the coffee shop owner.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
The coffee shop owner's timing with music. Like, anytime they're like, oh, we're talking about doing a haunted house, and he starts playing a chill, like a spine-chilling, creepy song in the background.
It was so weird because I was like, man, I'm watching this show, and even his English dub voice is like, yeah, man, it's cool. I'm like, this is anime Zach. This would be anime Zach just owning a coffee shop.
Seems like him. Speaking of things that are very clever that the story does, before we probably move on to characters, which we kind of already have, but whatever. The show is very much a character-driven narrative. But one thing that I also thought was very neat, kind of like how Cami pointed out, like differences in perspective. There's a character that is introduced through the friend group because one character listens to her talk to herself in the bathroom, and then that same character that's swapped in a later episode.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a neat little thing they did as well. Like, oh, I get an insight to this person, and that gives Tamako, you know, some insight into why a character act the way she did as soon as early as episode 3. And then in episode, I believe it was like 8 or 9 or something, that comes back. And then the character that really benefited from the one character eavesdropping in the bathroom is now the person who's being eavesdropped on in the bathroom, and provides that, again, a message to Tamako that something's wrong. And I think that was a neat little thing they did as well. There's a lot of really creative things that this story does, but in very subtle ways.
Yeah.
Oh, last catch that I want to bring up on that is there's a poster in Mochizo's room for a film called Paris Love Story. And then I was like, Tamako Love Story. Ah!
Oh, man.
The only other story beat that I really wanted to bring up was it's in one of the later episodes, so I don't want to get into too many details, but a character has a really adorable tantrum while still trying to be quiet because it's late at night.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to bring that up, but I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling stuff going on in that episode. So
I think that's a good segue into characters because, again, it's just like, even in small moments, the characters had very like unique personalities, and it showed off well.
Yeah, definitely. Every character had their own like kind of personal tick. And they kind of knew each other's ticks, and I think that was what was fun. It was like this close-knit group of friends and this big community, and each side character in that community also was their own character that you got to, you know, at least see a little tiny glimpse into their lives, whether it be like the flower shop owner and how they seem to be kind of ditzy and they'll lock themselves in the refrigerator so they can cool down, or, oh, hey, this guy has a crush on the girl who works at the bathhouse, or, oh, hey, you know, like, there's, like, all of these little intricate things that make up this community that Tamako values so much, and that's one of the core themes of the show. So I think that the characters play a really major role in what makes this show very unique.
And the number of times Tamako goes through the market, like a friend of Tamako goes through the market and just ends up with like bags full of free stuff that everyone just like, oh hey, come here, have a croquet, have a flower.
Yes. That's fun. And that's kind of even just a montage that comes up a lot. I was gonna say, like, it feels like, just like you were saying, Cassie, that, like, we only see bits and pieces of a lot of the side characters, but they feel well-rounded. It feels like there is a lot to them. They're complex, and while we don't see it, it's believable, and almost like I could have had an episode focusing on, like, every, like, shopkeeper in Usagiyama, like, shopping arcade. You know, they felt that interesting and compelling. So props to the show for being able to portray that not only in its main cast, but also its side cast, too.
I think what also is really cool about Tamako Market that we didn't point out is this is an original story. So for it to pump out this original story within 12 episodes and still kind of feel really lived in, it is lots of props to the writer. But there is a light novel that came out of this show afterwards. I'm kind of intrigued to check it out. Yeah,
I'm really intrigued to get that now.
Yeah, so the show aired and then a light novel started a few months later.
Yep, in April 2013.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to always look at original anime and know that it's not being tied down by any kind of source material. But if we are talking about characters, we probably should talk about our favorites. Like who stood out to us in the cast and maybe why.
Yeah. Well, I already basically said it before the fact. I mean, Dara fucking sells the show. Like, I completely forgot how over the top and how, as y'all said, extra he is, and his English voice actor sold me on it. Jay Hickman, again, just props. Just his gusto and how he's such a gentleman and how he gets flustered and just lively. I liked it.
Well, we'll probably get to the dub when we talk about production later, because I have some things to say about the dub as well. I watched half of one episode in the dub.
Oh.
Alright.
But yeah, I appreciated Dara a lot more on a rewatch too. I really like Dara's narration at the end of each episode with like a takeaway. I thought that was so good. Yeah. I'll keep going on to characters then. It's hard for me to pick a favorite character in this show because I think that the strength of this show is like the community as a whole. And just its ability to characterize all of these different characters and how they interact together. So I just kind of went out on a limb, and I have Kana as my icon here. Kana is just like super fun and quirky. I love how she has this like look about her that's very small and cute and like sweet, and then she's got these just like very like almost masculine hobbies. Like she's super into carpenting, and like she makes like very sassy or like rude jokes all the time, like threatening to cook Dara, which I love. She's just a really fun character, and I think the reason that she sticks out to me is that by the end of the show, she's the one that I was really like, oh man, I would love to see more of Kana. But that said, like honestly, I love everybody. I think that especially in the main cast, you can relate to everybody to some degree in some moment, and the way that they work off each other is really, really strong.
It was interesting because, going off that really quick, Kana, whenever she would do something, be coy or sassy, I'd be like, God, that's is that anime Suki right now? Is that what's going on?
I really echo your sentiments of like choosing a favorite character in this series was really hard. I always wanted to ask, would it be cheating to say that all of Usagiyama, like Usagiyama as a whole, is my favorite character in the series? Again, I loved how like a friend Tamako or a friend of Tamako could go through Usagiyama empty-handed one end and come out with bags full of free stuff that everyone's given to them at the other. But actually forcing myself to pick one character, I end up going with Midori. There's a little bit of drama involving Midori that like made things feel real. if that makes sense.
I like it.
She's one of the characters that felt the most real to me,
Nice.
and I really appreciated that about her.
Neat. I think I'm the only person who has yet to get to talk, so this is great. Because I think that one of the characters that always stood out to me the most, and especially on a rewatch for the gajillionth time, Tamako has always been somebody who really resonated with me, as she's just this beacon of light for her entire community. And I think... Huh?
Just like agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's this beacon of light for her entire community, and her only moment really of conflict that she has is when that entire community is unable to properly communicate with her. And I thought that that was a really neat touch, and it's one of those blink and you missed it kind of things, but it's really deep for a character who, for the most part, just seems like somebody who's cheerful and happy and always just looking on the bright side of things. And it shows that she's also very human, and she has a very high set of ideals when it comes to her community. And some of those are rooted in her past with her mother being gone, and also just how much that community has become valuable to her. And I don't know, I just always found her to be this character that I would love to try and be someday, like to help a bunch of people come together and really enjoy times together. And she definitely accentuates that very, I don't know how to put it, this mood that I wish that I could have. So I think that that's one of the reasons she's just so cool to me. She's a really deep character, but unfortunately I feel like a lot of these characters, while they have these like really cool moments, I just wish the show had been... It sounds weird to say this with a slice of life show from Kyoto, but I wish it had been a longer show.
Oh yeah, it could have totally done a second season or like been a 24 episode, because it's so good at the slice of life thing.
Yeah, so I would have enjoyed to see... Okay, so what are some other things that were, regarding your mother's death, which this is mentioned, like, within the first couple of episodes. Her mom's not around, so won't consider it too much spoiler, but how is that also affecting other parts of your life? How did, you list all these things that happened when you were younger, when you were part of the shopping district. Can you show me those moments? Can you give me some more time with you and the shop owners? Can you give me some more conflicts between you and Mochizo? Granted, I believe they go into that more in the movie. But still, I wish the show had been a bit longer, because while I do think that the show is great at what it does, I feel like because of its short runtime, some of the characters, including Tamako herself, come off as more shallow than they could have been if they had more time.
I was just going to follow up on that, actually. I was just pulling through Kyoto Animation's, produced works, and you're right, it is really interesting that Tamako Market only really produced a movie after the fact, but everything else has really just kind of been like, yo, we got sequel seasons for all the other projects, so it's really interesting to point out.
I also feel like Tamako Market was one of their, sleeper cute girls doing cute things kind of shows. It's the show that it's definitely got some oomph behind it. Most people know what it is, but a lot of people haven't watched it. A lot of people have not watched it, mostly I think because it didn't get as much, backing or praise or hype as things like K-On! Or any of their other cute girls doing cute things shows, kind of.
And it is funny because Naoko Yamada, who headed K-On!, also did Tamako Market, so it's like, if you liked K-On!, check this out.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I am really passionate about bringing up, and if this resonated with anybody else or you disagree, you can let me know, but one thing that I really love about characters in this show is that there's a lot of representation, non-traditional representation, that's just there. There is a shopkeep who, one could read, it's never stated, but one could read a shopkeep as trans who's just there. They're never questioned. They're never made a highlight. It's just something, and they're respected for who they are. And then there's a character of color that comes in as Islander representation. There is queer representation and some characters' feelings, and these representations are never seen as a big showy thing or have to be the highlight of the show. It's usually accepted by people around, and everybody is framed as very respected and very loving. And I just really like that subtle representation where it normalizes these sorts of people. And it's something that when I encounter it in anime, I'm just really excited about. So I like that a whole lot.
I just wish the entire world could be like this little shopping district. If we could all get along that well,
Yeah.
we'd live in a better world.
Yeah.
Just to speed things up, because we are getting close to running long, depending on how long this next part goes in our ratings. But what did everybody think about the production in this show?
I like it.
It was really clean. Real quick to just bullet through these. Cami mentioned Naoko Yamada. She directed K-On! She directed Tamako Market again. She directed Silent Voice!
Yeah.
And Listen to Bluebird! Writer, Cami, I mentioned this before, we sat down and record. The writer, Reiko Yoshida, author of Tokyo Mew Mew.
What the fuck? That's so cool.
She basically is like a script supervisor and screenplay writer for a lot of Kyoto Animation work. She's been around and she's pretty prolific. And obviously the music being another female lead here, Tamako Kataoka. She did, besides Tamako Market, has done a anime called Winter Garden. So basically a lot of the production staff on this very female-centric and focused, which is actually pretty rad.
Yeah, I thought the animation was nice, as always is in a KyoAni show. I loved the bright and pastel color palette a lot. It's something else that I think sets the show up as unique from its other titles. And there's also just some cool stylistic shots and choices made when they want to portray something. Like the Halloween episode does a lot of spooky, fun horror artistic tropes, and in certain flashback scenes it feels very retro with warm filters and stuff. So I like the dedication that they had.
And yeah, there's a couple of times where they just want to not because spooky stuff are happening, but they go super realistic with the look of it, with a slight blur, which just makes things slightly unsettling. But it's purposefully unsettling because it's from a character's point of view, and something is off to that character, and that character then kind of goes into a panic, and but you just have these almost first person view all of it in this perspective, and it's this different look to everything compared to what we're used to, and it does throw things off, but intentionally. Saying it throws it off is usually a bad thing, but there is a very intentional effect that they want here, and I think they nailed it with these scenes when they use them. I think it happens a couple of times, 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I also really like, in addition to the animation, if we're just going back to base things, is I love the character designs. Tamako herself, one of the things that I love is she's always got these 3 flyaway hairs that no matter what frame she's in and what hairstyle she has, they're all over the place.
It's so cute, actually. Yeah, I adored that. I was like, man, messy hair, cute.
Yeah, I like how a lot of characters had their own hairstyle. I loved that Shiori, a character that we have not highlighted, but one that I also really enjoyed. She wears different Pocky sticks in her hair every single day.
I love their scarves. When you ever saw the girls together, they all had these really fat, cutely styled scarves with their winter outfits, and I loved it.
The uniforms are super cute. I like that Kana always has a candy in her hair.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
I like that a lot of the characters have their own unique style to them, that even though a lot of people will say, oh, all KyoAni characters look the same, this is an example where I'd say not really.
Yeah.
No.
I'd agree.
And I'd say that with a lot of their other shows too. But in this show, you've got so many wacky, different personalities, and they're all represented in these fluffy, different designs. You've got like the girl who's got the fluffy, purple hair who works in the shopping district with her big old granny glasses.
Yeah.
You got Midori's, I think it's her grandfather, who's got kind of like this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory air about him.
Oh, Willy Wonka-esque character. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of personality put into every character design, which I found was really great.
It's that cup and ball game, but that's his walking stick. Which is something I love about his design.
I really like the opening and ending. What did you guys think of them?
I love that ending so much. It's one of my favorites from that year, actually, back in 2013. It's just so, like, there were times where I would skip the opening, which, to be fair, is still good. But I never skip the ending, no matter how many times I watch the show.
Yeah.
I love that ending.
I agree. I love the visuals on that too. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest on my rewatch, and thanks Ver for having like the Romanji lyrics. I sang the opening and ending every time I watched it.
Oh.
Also, shout outs to a really good and unexpected insert song.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Takedo.
All right. All y'all, tell me about the dub.
Cass, you want to get your grievances out of the way?
Okay, so I this time was going to try and watch the dub because Cami was so kind as to get me the DVDs, which have come with English and Japanese tracks. And when I wasn't at home and wasn't able to watch my DVDs, I also have access to the Verve app and the High Dive app, both of which offer a dub option. I thought that some of the cast was good. I enjoyed Midori, I enjoyed Mochizo, I enjoyed especially Dera, which Craig has already highlighted his performance. I mean, no disrespect, but whoever played Tamako has got to be one of the most grating and annoying and most flatly delivered line givers I have ever heard in my life.
Her name is Margaret McDonald, and fun fact about her, she voices Rika and Chunibiyu. I agree 100%. I got used to it, but her even Brittany Karbowski voices Anko, and I'm like, why the fuck isn't Brittany Karbowski Tamako? It would have been better. Why?
I mean, I think if you would have switched those, it would have worked more because Anko is more of a whiny character. She's cute, and I like her. I like Anko a lot, actually.
Yeah.
The little sister of Tamako. But Tamako's voice was
Deeper.
the most grating thing I have heard in a long time. And I immediately swapped back to the Japanese cast because I love everyone in the Japanese cast, especially Tamako, who has a very soft and cute voice in the Japanese version.
Yeah.
So that's my grievance. I think for the most part, from what I listened to the first half of the, first couple of episodes, and there was one episode where I think I was on, episode 6 or something, and I said, Dominic, I want you to listen to this dub. Because I just need to know I'm not the only one who finds her voice annoying. And they listened to, the first 5 minutes of the show, and they were like, yeah, that's not good.
No,
It could have been the direction. I don't know what else this young lady has done, and, she might be a very great actress, but whoever was directing her, may have been the problem, but her delivery was just the most flat thing I've heard in ages.
Again, we don't mean to, disrespect. It's just man, everyone else fine. Dara, fucking Jay Hickman, stand up. But Margaret, I'm just you sound way your voice sounds deeper or just not as young sounding, I guess. And it just, her delivery fell flat, especially when the dad was being kind of a hard ass. She'd be like, Father. I'm like, okay. But I watched it all in dub, mind you. I got used to it. Nothing can be as bad as the My Hime dub. Just want to let you all know that.
By no means. I think that the rest of the dub was fine. I couldn't. I mean, Tamako is a main part of the production. So if I didn't like her voice, it was going to be hard to watch. And yeah, but I think the Japanese cast is phenomenal, and I love them. I love all of them.
Should we roll right into ratings?
Unless anybody has any final thoughts.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. I think that my only final thought is I wanted to go ahead and give a big old thank you to Terry, for giving us the opportunity to rewatch this show, because this might not have been watched for a while because it's been on my host choice list, but pretty low for a while. So
Yeah.
I got a cheat, kind of. Oh, yeah. So thanks for that, Terry. I think we all enjoyed this a lot more than we enjoyed the first 3 episodes of Sengoku Nightblood, so you did us a great service, young lady.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. We love you.
So rolling into ratings, I'm hosting, so I'm going to go ahead and be the dictator and say that Craig gets to go first.
Okie dokie. I said it at the beginning of the review, but my first foray with the show was I watched the first episode, didn't really feel like I was gelling with it, then kind of was divorced from it, then watched the movie way after the fact and was really kind of just like, okay, I didn't really have an emotional resonance with the show. So watching this was an interesting experience. I definitely, again, like the bird, nice bird, really fucking sold me. I like the girls, again, it's a cute girls doing cute sort of thing. But yeah, as Cami said, it's just a lot of the interactions with the shopping arcade is what sold me a lot of the holiday, and the framing of the episodes with each holiday is what drives you. I know some people that this is not necessarily their speed or their cup of tea, and I can understand why. So I want to give it a check it. See if you're not invested by episode 2 or 3, if you think the bird is weird, or if you're just like, okay, I understand what it is. It's just a tight-knit community. It's nothing. It does have some deep prospects at points, but on the whole, it's a pretty enjoyable time. So give it a check if you so desire.
John, you're up next.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying this series when it first came out, and when the movie was announced, I was super excited. And on rewatch, I still really enjoyed this series, and I agree with Cassie what she said with it. Like, I would like more of it, but I still think the series itself still ended in a way that I was satisfied, and then the movie just kind of put a nice bow on top of it. But we're not talking about the movie, we're just talking about Tamako Market itself. So I think if this is your cup of tea, you'll find something really enjoyable here. I'm going to give it a like it, because I did really like it. A high like it.
Awesome. All right, I think I'm going to go next because Cami gets to do our special little thing at the end of her review.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I have always had this soft spot in my heart for Tamako Market. It's just that show that hit me at the right time, at the right place, and no matter how many times I watch it, it never gets old, which at this point it's been many a time. I've lost track between editing AMVs and just recommending people watch it and just going through it. You'd think that something like this would get old eventually, and it never does. And I think that that's a good sign to how much that the series, for me at least, struck a chord. There's always going to be, in my opinion, when you watch something from any specific genre, it could be, for example, for mecha, Gurren Lagann's my shit.
Yeah.
Or Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's, a genre that I don't tend to dip my feet into very often, but I can still find some things that just resonate with me.
Yeah.
And for the cute girls doing cute things genre that has become so overabundant in the last few years.
Oh yeah, saturated.
Extremely saturated. There's very few times that something really sticks out to me. One of the exceptions is the working girls doing working things that has become something in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time of Tamako Market's airing, there was just so much, and I picked up the show not expecting to like it, and I really just found that special show in the genre. So I am going to give it a love it despite its flaws, because I think that those flaws are minimal. They do not detract from the overall picture.
Yeah.
I think that for what it was trying to accomplish, it did what it wanted to in spades, and there's very few shows that from beginning to end I can watch that are so simple, but hit the nail on the head every time. So I will give it a love it.
I'm just gonna put a disclaimer there that I've always seen Cassie as Tamako. Undoubtedly, she is the Tamako of our podcast community. So go give her that love that she deserves.
Oh my Reese's.
Stop it.
Never. Yeah. Okay. I'll roll on into my rating. I'm gonna give this show a like it, similarly to what John said, a very high like it. I remember, like I said, liking the show, but I didn't think there would be too much rewatch value. There was so much rewatch value in this show. I was like really floored to find out like how much I still enjoyed it and how like the ways that it sets itself apart from other KyoAni pieces that are similar in genre. It has a really small and warm atmosphere with just some tinge of supernatural to it. It's really easy and fun to go through. Usually when I was watching this, I watched at minimum like 3 episodes at a time. It's just really easy to keep going, and it keeps up a fun tone. And I, again, was just impressed upon a rewatch. And I think I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Granted, again, that totally is because this show falls in line with the kind of shows I like. If you listen to us and you're like, nah, man, I don't like Cami's gentle little subtle shit, I watch Devilman Crybaby, then, you know, you might not want to check this out. But if your tastes align with mine or Cassie's or John's, like to a degree, please check it out. I think it is really worth watching, and you'll probably like it. So, this new little special thing is that basically, Cassie, did you want to explain, or should I do it?
You can go ahead. I think that you are articulate enough to take this adventure.
Thanks for trusting me, boo. Okay, so basically, with an additional host, we've realized that, oh my god, if all 4 or 5 of us recommend a show every episode, we're gonna run out of recommendations, and it's gonna be like really hard to keep recommending. So we've decided to take a process of everyone like taking turns to give a recommendation per episode. And there's no real order at this point. Eventually it will be, but I said, hey, I can start out today. So it is my turn to give you a recommendation based on Tamako Market, if you liked it. And I'm going to say, if you want another show that is so effective at being warm and like giving you good feelings, sometimes even just like emotionally resonant feelings, that is also focused on a young girl's impact on a community, and there's a lot of aspects about the neighborhood and getting to know each of the tenants that lives there, please go check out this little title called Croisée in a Foreign Labyrinth, or Ikoku no Meiro, Croisée. It is about a little Japanese girl in the late 19th century who goes to France and just, you know, impacts the people of France in the it's a shopping district as well, that she lives in, and vice versa. It's a really sweet show that I ended up buying, and I'm so happy I did. It was from like 2011. Please go watch it. Have feels with me. Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, nice.
Wonderful. So, unless we have any final things to say, thanks again, Terry, for this opportunity. We all appreciate you.
We do. You've been with us since the beginning, and I'm really glad that you entrusted us to review one of your absolutely favorite shows.
I'm very excited and honored.
Yes.
Truly honored.
Truly.
That being said, we are running a little long today. We had way too much fun with those emails, but I am happy that we did. I am happy that we had so much fun. And if you want to continue to give us that much fun, you can, send us an email too at anniechatmail@gmail.com. But until next time, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and skedaddle, eat some mochi, go to sleep, do whatever we got to do.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Oyasumi nasai.
Y'all motherfuckers want to go get mochi?
God, I do. I really do.
Everybody loves somebody.
Fuck you.